f, we need to sketch the graph of the function for f, for the x from -3 to 6, and for the y from -7 to 15, and indicate clearly the point P and any intercepts of the curve with the axes. And this is worth 4 marks. Now the 4 marks, as I'm going to show you, each one comes from a separate thing, so you need to make sure that you do that to get those 4 marks. So in doing this, it's really useful to use your calculator. So we will just bring up our calculator. I've already have the function plotted out there, and we're going to use that. I've also drawn the scale here. It's from I put in here my x and y scale. Now there's 1 mark for this setup, so 1 mark for setting it up correctly, and basically you need to show your x and y, and you need to have some indication of scale on your axes. So putting numbers on your axes and putting the x and y, you'll get that 1 mark. Now the next thing is that we're going to actually plot up the graph, and I'm going to firstly start with this section over here, because this section over here, there's no x and y intercepts on that. Now notice I've set up my window to correspond to what they wanted, from -3 to 6 and from -7 to 15. So I set it up, my graph, to look like what I'm going to need to draw in the end result. And I can go to my table. I've set up my table also for this. So I've got these values in, and I can go up to -3. And so we get that -3 is about -7.66. So we're down over here somewhere. We're over there somewhere, down there. Then -2 is -3. That's a nice accurate one there. And then -1 is at 9. And so we see that we're going to be going through your x-axis somewhere there. But let me go on to the other side, which is the easier side. We've got 1 is at 15 there. We've got 2 is at 9. I'm over there. 3 is 10.33. So if I just look at that, I'm somewhere probably over there, around about there. I must just go down a bit more. Okay, so I'm going there. 4 is 12.75. 12.75, I'm just above 12 over there. And then 5, I'm 15.48. I'm over there. So I'm something like that. 6, you're at 18. 18.3, so we're around over there. So I think you can see that your graph is doing something like this. Now you'll be able to draw better curve than me, but the curve needs to be a curve, and you need to try and draw it in one go. Something like that. You've got your curve. Now that's on the positive side, with the positive x side. Now what about on the negative side? Now we see that it actually goes through our x-axis, so I need to actually get that point. So I'll go back to my graph. I'm wanting this point over here. So I go to my second, and I go to calc, and I'm looking for a 0 when y is equal to 0. So I enter there, and I need to say left bound. So I go below it, and I say enter, and then I go right bound, and I say enter, and I say guess, and I get there that it's about 1.58. So I'm just over halfway here. I'm just about over there that I'm going to need to go through. So this is going to look something like this. At 0, there's no, if you actually went closer, 0.5 here, you would find it would be even greater. So we're going to get a shape of a graph, something like something like that, although hopefully you'll draw yours a bit better than me. Now, getting the intercept will get you a mark there. Drawing a nice curve will get you a mark, so the blue line, a nice curve, and then labeling this, we had to label that P, the minimum point. Now remember, we know that that point over there is the point 2 and 9. Okay, so we've done that. We've drawn our graph, and that will be a total of 4 marks. Now going back to my question, it says on your graph draw and label the tangent t. Now remember, the equation for the tangent t was y is equal to 9. So I could actually go to my calculator. I could go to my calculator and bring that up and show that on my calculator. And put that in. So I'd go y equals, and I could put 9 in there, y equals 9, and enter, and then look at the graph of that, and I'd have that. So it would be, it's a straight line, obviously. We're going to go from -3 all the way through to 6, so let's just plot that in, put that in. So we're going along here, and it's going across there, so it would be like that. You would obviously do this with a ruler now, because it's a straight line. And you'd actually go all the way through to 7 like that. So you draw that line in. And then it says that's your tangent t. That's t. And then it says t intersects the graph of f at a second point. Write down the coordinates of this point on the intersection. So it's actually over here. It's this point over here that we're looking at. Now the coordinate of that point, obviously your y is equal to 9, because it's the graph y is equal to 9. I think you can see here that it is at -1. But obviously we could use our graphics calculator to actually find that for us. So let's just do that just to make sure that we can. We could use our graphics calculator to actually do that. We'll go to our second function, calc. We'll go down to our intersect. We'll say enter. And that is our first curve. Enter. And the second curve is that. And there we get is the, and we guess, and we get the point -1 and 9. So there we have our intersection point is given for us as -1, x is equal to 9, which is that point over there.